Hello everyone! Welcome back to some more Into the Breach with some Mediocre Gaming. We're going to be doing the Rusting Hulks today. Hoping we can actually get somewhat far as this. Let's move into it. If you remember in our last episode we died on the second island. We can now choose what island we're going to start on. So, I'd say we start on the original island anyway. Nothing really has changed here. And start up. We have a different selection of people this time. A jet mech, which can drop over people. Essentially, the main idea of this setup is to be able to essentially smoke out the competition, using smoke to slowly whittle the enemy down. You can also push enemies with him, essentially allowing you to maneuver things around to your advantage. This allows you to smoke out opponents, and essentially we have the option right now of trying to move him over, but we really should be going for something like this. Let's try this out for a first round. So the smoke makes it so the enemies don't attack, and it also causes them an electrical damage every turn. With enough reactors, we can eventually bump that up to 2, which would be very nice, considering essentially it stalls the enemies very well. Okay, well, here we can move him into an explosive. Here we can move him into an explosive. And here we can move nothing. We can, however, smoke him out, which really isn't that big of a deal. Ideally, we would block some more enemies, and if there's none on the field, it's a really good strategy to do, if you can afford to sacrifice some life. If we moved him here, it would end up having these two losing their attacks, essentially. And he would get damaged in the smoke. So let's try that out. Essentially, they had to cancel all of their attacks, and get rid of him. Now, I haven't played Into the Breach that much, but I have to say this group is probably my favorite. If you can get the right pilots and the right, essentially, situation, you're just golden. He'll attack him first, which won't really make a difference unless we push him back. But also we can't go into the smoke because we can't attack or repair there, which makes the whole situation a bit worse. Try this out, see how that works. He's only focusing on attacking him, so really we're pretty much good by this point anyway. Really just a choice of how do we want to progress with this. Damage him, because why not? And take him out, just to get some more experience. Damage here, damage him. Lost some casualties, but completed the mission. Defend the train, or do not defeat the volatile Vec. I'm pretty bad at not defeating the volatile Vec, and the method to stall them, and ideally, would be smoke. But considering we're using smoke to damage people, that's not a very good idea. So, we can already move him. Well, we can do this, get rid of him. He's going to attack the train, so we don't want that. We could push him back a tile, but that wouldn't do much. We can push him back a tile. Pushing him forward wouldn't help, so let's push him here, and then ideally smoke him out. See, a good thing about this is you can push enemies into one another, which will do more damage. We can, however, also use this to attack. That will deal damage to them, which would not be good for us. This isn't really that big of a concern. And that's a bad move. And if we sacrifice this, we can kill two birds with one stone. And luckily, we didn't even take any civilian casualties there. I didn't mention it, but these soldier scions give other Vec more HP, which is pretty bad in our case, so you'd ideally want to get rid of them. Bad idea. Huh. My main idea here was to use him. Actually, this will still work. It really doesn't matter that much. And we beat the mission with all objectives completed. It's very easy for the train to get destroyed, which you only get one reputation for. But also, if you get all of the missions you do from along here done when you defeat the island, you get an extra bonus of either a pilot, usually grid defense, and maybe a weapon, satellite launches, mech damage, and tidal waves. These tend to go over relatively well, but you can never be sure. Just sometimes the Vec are very stupid and just go and kill themselves in the water. Sometimes they don't. All of our mechs can go into the water, which is nice. We could push him back. Ideally, we'd want to get rid of this first. So we can theoretically push him into him, which wouldn't kill him. So let's do this. Sure. Then using him, push him over into the water where he'll die, and then smoke him out where he'll die next turn. Okay, so in our situation, we can kill him. Ideally, we would want to actually push, then from there, smoke him out. So he should die next turn due to blocking his friend and also electrical damage. And we're golden. Essentially, he's going to die in the water. Doesn't really matter for here, and everything's good. So, That was relatively easy for a mission. Sometimes they don't go over that well, depending on if you get more flying enemies than non-flying, but when you can push them all into the water, everything's pretty much good. So we're staying strong with all the objectives completed, and I'll take the satellite launches, or actually destroy the dam. This is good for water. And a pod is incoming. Hopefully we'd get a decent pilot out of this. Luckily, we're positioned in our first turn so we can destroy this. Ideally, I would have done that slightly differently, so let's change it back. Just a slight difference. And he's stuck. So, leave it like this. Take some damage. Get a casualty. But at least we're getting the time pod. And if we do this, that's Mech is submerged. You cannot attack while you're submerged. Fun fact. And we can't do much here. But if we take him out, do this, and get some more damage, well, sure, why not? Sadly, we're getting a few casualties in this first mission, which sucks considering you really want to save as much as you can for later. Water-wise, we want to do that. And there we go. He'll die blocking his friend. They can attack due to electrical damage. And we're relatively safe here. We can't kill them with him. We can't really attack at all with him, so let's just repair. So let's take him down, and then just for fun, push him over here. He attacks nothing, and we're done with the mission. I believe now there'll be the boss fight for the end of the island. In the pod, we get a reactor core. Well, it's better than nothing. We can go for extra damage here. The range is very good. You can do extra enemies. For rockets, the storm generator is probably one of the best things you could possibly get, but the damage isn't bad. And shielding self is probably what I'll invest in here, because it's good in the short term. Here, here, and here. Okay, so this is pretty bad from the beginning, but we can do a small amount of damage here. We could theoretically push him over, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Use this to smoke him out. And then he's not providing much of a threat. Yes, they're both attacking. Well, theoretically we could do this, but this building would end up dying even sooner, which doesn't really matter. So we'll push him out of the way. Our jet's running low on energy, or life, I guess. So we can push everyone here. That will help. He's attacking nothing. Get rid of this. And take care of him attacking so that he'll die. Well, he's burning, so we're going to need to repair him. So we'll move him to the forest and repair him. He can take a shot. Moving him left or right is more of the question. If we move him here, he'll attack his friend, which he'll attack first, so that takes care of him. He's attacking here, and he's attacking nothing. So, safe for this turn, I believe. We're close to completing all the objectives on the island. We just need to take him, get him dead. So ideally we can do this, get rid of them. Possibly do this, get rid of them, and then do this to take care of that. And I believe we're good. Shield is a very nice thing. You can essentially have them be a miniature tank. But, mission complete. And we've accomplished every archive mission. We can get push adjacent tiles while repairing. It's not bad. Flips a target's attack direction. Grid defense. We'll get the pilot. Push while repairing. Well, he can already push, so it's not that big of a deal. I feel like he repairs more often. So we'll move people around. Can also donate them. And acid tank. 2 reactor cores and 2 grid power. And we can, if we had saved our stuff, we could have gotten that extra storm generator damage. But that's good enough. We can shield an adjacent ally or building. It's pretty good, but I think we'll save up now for the storm generator. Hopefully on the next island we can get a time pod that will pretty much let us do this early. If we had to go through another island without it, it'd probably be bad. But we can actually beat the game after the second island, technically. Not easy, but lightning storm I don't like. Defend the train and the robotics lab, and this could get us something. Although its difficulty is pretty difficult. So I'll consider some different options, and see you all in the next episode, hopefully. I hope you'd have enjoyed some Mediocre Gaming, where we played some Into the Breach. Well, thank you for joining me. Goodbye.